La clase. So I'm just going over the quiz that you took, the body parts. If you want to grab it in the back of the room, if you haven't gotten already, the gold class would have already gotten this. So you can just fast forward through this gold class. So look in the back of the room. It's labeled. So if you're the blue class or the peach class, just grab your quiz and pause this video. So let's go through. So the first one we have, you could have either said la cabeza. Maybe someone put el pelo, but it should be la cabeza. El cerebro would be another one. Is your brain. Here we have it should have been el hombro. If you wrote hombro, I think I still gave you credit for it, but it should be hombro. And then here we have the pecho or el pecho. If you put el corazón or los pulmones, that would be another one. Pulmones are lungs. That would have been an answer I would have taken. Brazo, el brazo. El brazo izquierdo, just to get used to that language for the final. Los dedos or la mano would have been fine for that one. Some of them have kind of different, they could have been two different things. Una rodilla or la rodilla. And here we have el pie, not el pie, but el pie. Or you could say los dedos de pie. So the toes. And then here we have el tobillo, the ankle. We have la pierna derecha. And then el estómago, or it could have been ombligo, which is the belly button, or el ombligo. Aquí we have el codo, the elbow, and then we have el cuello for the neck. So those were your answers. Check your mistakes there. And then for these, we're saying con que olemos. Oler is to smell. So we would say olemos con la nariz. We smell with the nose. And then con que miramos. What do we look with? We could say miramos con los ojos. Con que nadamos con, I always say todo el cuerpo, but you might have put las piernas, los brazos, and then masticar is to chew, so we would say masticamos con los dientes, la boca. Okay, clase. So those were your answers for those. And then down here, so if you got the completely right, don't worry about this 8 points here. It would have been 1 point bonus for you. So for these, you should have said something, and you could fill them in now. So todos los días me duele la espalda. And you wouldn't say mi espalda because usually it's redundant to say me duele mi espalda. We already know it's yours by saying me here. So, or you could say todos los días la espalda me duele or tengo dolor de espalda. I would have taken all those. For this, it would be tengo. I don't know if anyone got this completely, the one, but cicatriz is scar in mi pierna, and then remember you're going to say either derecha because it's pierna or izquierda, so this would be derecha for right. And then here de niña, or cuando era niña, tenía, so this should be imperfect, la presión arterial baja. So that's it. So for this one, you could say voy a hablar or hablo. Remember, when you say hablo, it's I speak, I do speak, I am speaking. So it could be like hablo con mi consejero, or voy a hablar con mi consejero, or consejera if it's a female. Consejero or consejera. El lunes en la tarde, or por la tarde. So either one would be that fine. And then for this one, this is actually not your question. You were supposed to answer the question about if you, what you were like as a child, your health. So just check over your essay there. If you wanted a point or two back, so what you could do, you could make some corrections to your essay. What the corrections would be rewrite your essay and just like maybe explain like the mistake too, like I just forgot, that this is this, or an adjective agreement, or I forgot to conjugate my verb, for example. But just write out the sentences, like rewrite the incorrect sentences or just rewrite the paragraph, but make the corrections and just give me a little like note about why they were incorrect. If you're not sure, you can ask me, but I can give you a couple points back. Let's say like 2 or 3 points back on your quiz grade, which would be significant. So if you want to do that, bring it to me. You could do it now and then turn it in by the end of class. So what I want to do now is make sure that you got your review packet. If you didn't, it's in the front of the room on the desk. And we're going to just go through a little bit of that now. This is your study guide. So you just want to get really familiar with it. Also, if you look here, if you go into your Schoology page, definitely make sure that you go through all these documents that I have here. So final exam, Spanish 3, Español 3 documents. Because here I have the Frida movie. So go through those documents today. I would locate them and just make sure you have copies. For the story, Una experiencia inolvidable, I just want you to kind of reread it to make sure that you remember the details of it. You can actually pull it out of your folder now and go through it and just reread it. Basically, you can do a little volleyball Spanish if you want today with your friend. Also, you want to just review the story No Pasa Nada, which is the one about the seguridad cibernética with the student Manuela that shared her picture with her boyfriend. So I would pull both of those stories out now. You can pause this video at any time and just reread them. Just make sure that this is a good day to kind of just go back a little bit and review. Please don't waste the time because you don't have that much of it. And we have our exam next Friday at 8 o'clock. So open these documents, take a look at them, make sure you have them. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so I'm back. So you just want to go through your study guide. So all your things are here. Cinco de Mayo, Dia de los Muertos. So I'm going to be asking some basic questions about those, Pascua and Semana Santa. Also a little bit of Ramadan. So I would just look at your notes about the differences and similarities, especially that Venn diagram that we did, because I'm going to ask you one question about that. And most of these topics that are in the vocab and culture section are one of the 20 multiple choices. So this first section will be multiple choice, and I'll ask you questions about Frida Kahlo. That's in your Schoology links. And then Los Tres Cerditos are going to be down here in this first or second page, or a little bit just within this first couple pages of the doc. You can reread that story. El Cuerpo en la Salud and your health survey. You want to definitely study those words. There's a whole section on that. The Guess Who game, if you look, that's also in, look here. The Guess Who game vocabulary is in your Salud. Should be here. And then if you look up here, Adivina quién, so you can just look at that vocab a little bit. It's just one question on that, so don't worry too much about it. And then No Pasa Nada, I already explained that. Your childhood vocabulary. So I would just reread your book that you wrote, because I'm basically asking you a very similar question as the book. So just review your story jumper that you wrote so that you can kind of get an idea of what to write for that little writing section. Food and reflexive verbs, those are also in Schoology. For grammar, I'm going to be testing you on the preterite, regular and irregular, including the orange posters and the slipper verbs, which is the blue posters, those verbs that just change in the third person, singular and plural, like durmió and durmieron. The imperfecto is definitely going to be on there, and each of these have a little practice coming up, including how to write a narration and the pretérito versus el imperfecto. And last thing is two commands, which we just did, the positive and the negative two commands that I tested you on not too long ago. So if you wanted to take out your notes on any of this stuff here, you could do that and kind of just put everything together and say, these are all my study things that I need for the final exam. I would also take advantage of Quizlet because you have a lot of vocab lists there that you can use. So go through here. So this is the first section. There'll be 20 questions like this. And I'm just basically asking you to, like in la historia de los tres cerditos, el blank trató de entrar a la casa de los cerditos, pero los cerditos no lo, this should be no lo dejaron entrar. So just change that to dejaron, no lo entrar, dejaron entrar. And so change that mistake. And so if you look down here, you can read over the tres cerditos. It's right here for you. Maybe do it with your friend today in class too. So go through those questions. I can review them. Read about the guajeros again, because those are the ones from Guatemala que buscan cosas para vender, viven en basureros. Hay mucha pobreza en Guatemala. So that's that. And then here you have comidas especiales. What are some comidas especiales durante Pascua? So go back into your notes. If you don't have the Pascua notes, I did put them here. And you can pull up that article, but you guys did do a lot of reading on that, so I don't want you to have to do it again. But if you need it, it's in your final exam documents under Pascua. So, ¿qué conmemoran durante? So answer these questions so that make this your homework if you don't do it in class today, because I want to go over it. Also, Dia de los Muertos, you can refer to the document, but also just answer those questions. Fill in for the pretérito regular. You want to conjugate these three verbs in the preterite and write me a sentence. And then you want to decide here for pretérito regular, what would the conjugations be? By the way, this is very similar in format to what your test is going to look like. So I kind of made it very similar. And then for the preterite irregular, what are the endings with the orange poster? And then put the stems here. If you want to write some sentences, you can, because I will be asking you some questions like here. Le dijiste una mentira a alguien esta semana, ¿quién? So answer these questions here, and then also do the slipper verbs. So remember slipper verbs. You can use the blue poster if you want to just put a note here. Use blue poster. You want to maybe jot them down before you leave class today. And then if you want to get started on just remembering, you do have a Quizlet for this on the preterite. And we did a lot of notes on this too. Categories for preterite and categories for imperfect. So you want to decide, I'm asking you to write your own sentences here. So these are some of the categories, but write me a narration sentence. Write me a sentence with action and progress. If you're not sure how to do this, go to Quizlet because there's actual examples there. Descriptions, not specific. So go to Quizlet and find a sentence, and you're going to plug it right into these examples. La edad en el pasado. Find that card, the imperfect versus the preterite, categories, I think it's called, and then write me a sentence. You can do this last section with imperfect. And then how about next class, we'll pick it up with starting to describe photos like this one. So if you could complete all the way up to there, you could go farther if you want today during class, or you could just get organized. But please don't waste your class time today, because this is really meant to be review for you. And that's what I hope you'll do. And I'll see you soon. Gracias. Nos vemos pronto.